Alrighty, party peoples of the interwebs, when someone who you have definitively determined to be a scoundrel does the right thing,
I will still assume they did it for scoundrelous reasons.
Viva Frei, former Montreal litigator turned current Florida rumbler, and for the purposes of this car vlog, we are taking a trip back behind the Iron Rainbow, the Maple Gulag. We are going back to Canada for some news because Jagmeet Singh apparently no longer supports his partner in crime, Justin Trudeau. From CBC News, the Liberal NDP deal is dead, but that doesn't necessarily mean a fall election. Now, before we even get into the news of the day, for the Americans watching who don't know who Jagmeet Singh is, yes, his name is pronounced Jagmeet. He made that joke some time ago on Twitter. Jagmeet Singh is the leader of the NDP, the New Democrat Party, and they are anything but New Democrats. They are actually the least democratic institution in Canadian politics. They have been supporting the tyrannical Justin Trudeau for the last 2 years or so. Jagmeet Singh, he is the stuff of movie villainry. He is annoying. He's a liar. He's a scoundrel. And this is how they described him some time ago in an article in Metro. No, it's from the Toronto Life. And would you look at that picture? I swear to you, he is playing the role of a villain. The greatest showman. The left has pinned its hopes on Jagmeet Singh, a charismatic leader with a taste for flashy suits and a following that should make Justin Trudeau nervous. The Making of a Political Superstar by Emily Landau, photographed by Luis Mora, February 14, 2018. These insidious politicians, they fancy themselves as gods. They fancy themselves as superstars, and they've got a media in their back pocket to promote that hyperbole. Oh, he's got a following to make Justin Trudeau nervous. How about you just govern with respect and dignity? We can't even get that from our Canadian politicians, but wait until you get to this wonderful passage a little later on in this article. Jagmeet has a taste for dandy luxuries that don't comport with the monkish minimalism of his party. He wears bespoke suits in the slim British style. His favorite is a brown tweed with cobalt blue stripes designed by a tailor in New Delhi, which he often pairs with a millennial pink turban. He owns 2 Rolex watches, an Oyster Perpetual Datejust, and a Submariner. Both were gifts. A crimson BMW coupe and 6 designer bikes. Quote, I have just an absurd number of bikes, end quote. He says, quote, more than one person should have, end quote. His kirpan, the ceremonial Sikh dagger he wears under his jacket, is a steel designed by a metalworker outside Boston. Since joining Queen's Park in 2011, Singh has become one of the city's most devoted partygoers, a regular at King West night spots and gala fundraisers, at fashion shows and Raptors games. Jagmeet has a taste for dandy luxuries that don't comport with the monkish minimalism of his party. There's another word for that type of lifestyle when what you preach does not comport with how you live.
It's called hypocrisy.
So yeah, that is the Jagmeet Singh who has been propping up the Justin Trudeau regime for the last 2 years or so in virtue of some, what do they call it, confidence and supply agreement? You'd think these people were like dealing in natural resources, the way they call this, the confidence and supply agreement. This is basically Jagmeet Singh saying, I'm gonna bitch and moan about Justin Trudeau on Twitter literally every day for the last 2 years. What an evil party the Liberal Party is, how hypocritical they are, how they're doing nothing for Canadians, yada, 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 but I'm gonna prop them up for the next 2 years, as Jagmeet Singh did. And there's some hypothesizing as to why Jagmeet Singh did in fact prop up the Liberals for the last 2 years, and some people think that it might have to do with when Jagmeet Singh gets his federal pension. From an article in the Toronto Sun, Lily, Jagmeet Singh has millions of reasons not to vote down Trudeau. The NDP leader denounces the Trudeau government on a daily basis. This might be the reason he won't vote them down. Brian Lilly, published October 5, 2023. A little later on in the article, yet Singh is the only reason Trudeau is able to stay in power thanks to the coalition they put together with the Supply and Confidence Agreement to not have an election until 2025. By that time, if this government makes it that far, Singh will have qualified for his pension and a potential lifetime payout of $2.3 million Canadian. That's a pretty compelling personal reason not to vote to evict a government that you publicly say is failing Canadians. Singh was first elected through a by-election in February 2019. To qualify for the MP's pension, members need to serve 6 years, which for Singh will be February 2025. Which brings us back full circle to the beginning of this vlog where I said that when someone who I have definitively determined to be a dirty, rotten scoundrel does the right thing, I'm still going to assume there are dirty, rotten, scoundrelous reasons for which the scoundrel is now finding his conscience and doing the right thing. But before we even get there, take 5 seconds to make sure that you are subscribed, and if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, give it a thumbs up, make sure notifications are turned on. And now the catch as to why that dirty, rotten scoundrel doing the right thing now might not be for very altruistic reasons in that article that we read from the CBC. see. The Liberal NDP deal is dead, but that doesn't necessarily mean a fall election, and therein is the rub. While the end of the deal leaves PM Trudeau in a tight spot, he has options. A little later in the article, NDP leader Jagmeet Singh's decision to pull his party out of the confidence and supply agreement with the governing Liberals injects a lot of uncertainty into Canadian politics, and it could lead to a federal election earlier than planned. The Liberal government is on shakier ground now that it can't rely on the NDP to prop it up on confidence votes in a parliament where Team Trudeau holds a minority of the seats. But it doesn't mean the government will soon fall on a confidence vote, a vote that determines whether the government has the support of the House of Commons. Sorry, I probably should have clarified something a little earlier. A confidence vote means that at any point in time, members of parliament can vote on whether or not they have confidence in the current administration, and if they don't, they can trigger an election earlier than the 4-year limit required by law, which the last election was in 2021, in which I ran for the People's Party of Canada. So that means the next legally required election would be in September 2025, and that would mean that if we get there, Jagmeet Singh gets his pension, but he gets his pension as early as February 2025, so it doesn't even need to get to September 2025, so long as there is not an election called before and Jagmeet Singh ousted before February 2025, he's going to get his pension and the $2.3 million that is worth over the course of his life. Back to the article, it could still engage in some horse trading with the NDP or one of the other opposition parties to cobble together enough votes to get its legislation through Parliament and stave off an election. An opposition party could support the government's agenda piecemeal and not through a formal agreement like the one that was ripped up today. Is Canada headed for an election? Not yet, but one could be sooner than planned. After Singh's decision to blow up the agreement that's kept the Liberals on solid footing for the last 2 years plus, the government is undoubtedly in a much more precarious position. Under the confidence and supply agreement, the Liberals essentially could govern as if they had a majority government. That agreement was supposed to be in place until June 2025, meaning an election wasn't expected until next summer at the earliest. Now the Liberal government's future is on a knife's edge. It could be brought down at any time through a non-confidence vote when Parliament returns later this month. So that man who I firmly believe is a hypocrite and a scoundrel, one whose hypocrisy was confirmed by the media, but they just say, his lifestyle doesn't comport with the monkish minimalism of his party. The man who I have determined to be a scoundrel had a confidence and supply agreement that would expire in June 2025 after he got his pension. But now, after having propped up that tyrannical and I dare say criminal Trudeau government for the last 2 years plus, Jagmeet Singh has found his conscience, and I'm sure he's going to do everything in his power not to have an election triggered before February 2025. So he waited 2+ years propping up that government, and now he's going to try to pretend to be the hero, that he found his conscience, that he's tearing up that confidence and supply agreement. What a godforsaken hypocrite. And if you really want to throw up in your mouth just a little bit, I will play Jagmeet Singh's Twitter video at the end of this vlog so you can see the brave man in action, finally saying after 2+ years of literally ragging on the Trudeau government daily, I am tearing up the agreement that propped this guy up for the last 2 years, knowing that I am probably going to last long enough to get my sweet, sweet pension in February 2025. But if you like what I do, you know what to do. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, drop a comment in the comment section below, share my stuff with someone who you think would like it, and share it with someone who you know would not, because they might need to see it most. But more important than anything, exercise, eat healthy, sunlight, vitamin D, talk to people in real life, and now you know your vlog. Peace out, peeps. Booyah!
Today, I notified the Prime Minister that I've ripped up the supply and confidence agreement. Canadians are fighting a battle. We can. In the next federal election, Canadians will choose between Pierre Poilievre's callous cuts or hope. Hope that when we stand united, we win. That Canada's middle class will once again thrive together. In Canada, we take care of our neighbors. That's who we are. I've embraced that value my whole life. I'm running for Prime Minister because together we can and will stop conservative cuts. We can deliver relief and restore hope, fix healthcare, build homes you can afford, stop price gouging. It's always impossible until it isn't. It can't be done until someone does it. If we're together, nothing is impossible. and we won't let them tell us it can't be done. Big corporations and wealthy CEOs have had their government. It's the people's time.